The champagne glass shattered not because of clumsy handling, but because the cold shock registered in Robert Sterling's heart was too much for his fingers to bear. He stood amidst the imported white roses, the very scent of Ecuador mixing with the expensive perfume of judgment, watching his daughter, radiant in the silk he'd paid for, condemn him. "I'm sorry, Dad," Clara Sterling Thorne had hissed, her voice a tight whisper of embarrassment. "You're not invited. Go away." Robert left quietly, his world collapsing. But as the grand ballroom doors sealed behind him with the finality of a closing vault, the perfect wedding was already ticking down toward a spectacular, pre-planned nightmare. In the space of 2 hours, justice would be served. Just imagine the scene. Robert had given his entire life to his daughter, Clara, whom he loved unconditionally. Yet here he was, standing frozen in the entrance of the grand ballroom, still holding the wrapped gift box, listening to his own daughter deliver the final, brutal cut. The cost of the single day, the venue, the catering, the wedding dress he'd spent $12,000 on, represented months of his profit earned through 25 years of building Sterling structures. "Dad, what are you doing here?" Clara's voice cut through the elegant chatter. Her gown rustled as she stepped back, a physical manifestation of distance. Julian Thorne, the groom, appeared beside her, his tailored tuxedo sharp, his smile even sharper. "Mr. Sterling," Julian began, "I think there's been a misunderstanding." "What misunderstanding?" Robert searched Clara's green eyes, the same eyes her mother, Lena, had, for the little girl who used to beg him to push her higher on the swing set. Clara glanced desperately at the watching guests, women in designer gowns, men in $1,000 suits, all pretending not to stare while clearly soaking up every word. "This is a private family celebration," she managed, her voice tight with embarrassment. "Immediate family only." Those 4 words, immediate family only, hit Robert like ice water, collapsing 28 years of bedtime stories, school plays, and sacrifices into one humiliating sentence. He thought of the endless overtime he'd worked to put braces on that smile now turned away from him, and the years he chose her Commonwealth College fund over his own retirement. "I paid for this wedding, Clara," Robert said, his voice steady and factual. "Every flower, every plate, the dress you're wearing." Julian's jaw tightened. "Money doesn't buy class, sir." "Julian's right," Clara whispered, refusing to meet Robert's eyes. "This isn't about money. It's about fitting in. You don't understand the kind of people who are here." Robert understood perfectly. He understood that construction workers who built their houses were not welcome at their parties. The man who had sacrificed everything so his daughter could marry into their world had served his purpose. Conversations around them had stopped entirely. "I see," Robert said quietly. He set the gift box he'd wrapped himself on a nearby table, abandoning it like everything else he had given them. "Dad, please don't make this harder than it needs to be," Clara pleaded. "You're right," Robert confirmed. "I don't belong here." The walk to the exit was a silent, agonizing marathon. Designer heels clicked against the marble as conversations resumed, high and artificial. Robert's work boots, polished specially for the occasion, felt heavy against the pristine floor. Outside, the spring air was a relief. The parking lot stretched before him, filled with luxury vehicles Robert could never afford. Yet his own pickup truck sat alone in the far corner, exactly where it belonged in their world. He reached for his phone, his fingers steady. 25 years of building company had taught him patience, and 25 years of loving an ungrateful daughter had taught him the true value of loyalty. He found the contact he needed. Zenith Mercantile Bank, Corporate Division. Heavy doors sealed behind him with the finality of a vault. The wedding music faded to whispers as Robert crossed the asphalt toward his truck, each step deliberate. Darker clouds gathered above the venue's Gothic spires, casting shadows across the luxury vehicles that cost more than most people's houses. The dashboard clock showed 3:47 p.m., just enough time before the banks closed. Robert pressed the call button for Zenith Mercantile Bank. Corporate Division. Zenith Mercantile. "This is Eleanor speaking. How may I assist you?" The voice inquired. "Eleanor, this is Robert Sterling, account number 779, for 512. I need to initiate stop payments on several authorized transactions. After verifying his identity, Robert recited the details while watching guests arrive in silk dresses and expensive cufflinks, none aware of the quiet disaster he was unleashing. "I see several large transactions from today," Eleanor noted. "Which one specifically?" "All wedding-related payments," Robert stated, listing each item like inventory. Venue rental, catering deposit, floral arrangements, photography, music services. He demanded immediate implementation. Eleanor paused, recognizing the significance of the amounts. "Are you certain about stopping all payments completely?" "Completely certain," Robert confirmed. "There's been a change in circumstances." He provided the necessary authorization codes, details he knew by heart from decades of running Sterling structures. Stop payments are now in effect. Confirmation numbers are being generated. Robert's next call went to Prestige Feast Catering, the company Clara had insisted upon despite their astronomical prices. "Prestige Feast Catering, this is David." "David, this is Robert Sterling, calling about the Thorne wedding reception happening right now." "Oh, yes, Mr. Sterling. Everything is going beautifully. The guests are raving about the appetizers." "I'm afraid there's been a financial complication," Robert stated, professionally. "Payment authorization has been revoked. You'll want to protect your equipment and remaining food service." Silence stretched. "I'm sorry. What exactly are you saying?" "The bank has stopped payment on your contract, effective immediately. I suggest you secure your assets." David disconnected without a word. A smart man. The florist, Evergreen Florals, answered on the second ring. "Diane speaking." "Diane, Robert Sterling here, regarding the Thorne wedding flowers. There's been a payment issue. Bank authorization has been canceled. You'll need to collect your arrangements if you want to salvage any value. Collect them, but they're integrated into the entire venue design. Business is business, Diane. I suggest you move quickly." 3 more calls followed. The photography services, the string quartet, even the linen rental company. Each conversation spiraled from professional courtesy to growing alarm and rushed disconnections as vendors scrambled to protect their property. Robert's phone showed 4:15 p.m. when the last call ended. Through his windshield, he watched a white catering van pull up to the venue service entrance. David, most likely, coming to salvage what he could. Inside the ballroom, Clara was probably still greeting guests, blissfully unaware that her perfect wedding was about to become a very expensive lesson. Robert started the engine and drove slowly past the venue's front entrance. He caught glimpses of the reception through tall windows, crystal glasses raised in toasts, elegant figures moving across polished floors. All of about to change. His phone buzzed. Clara's number. He let it ring. The dashboard clock read 4:20 p.m. when the first truck arrived. Evergreen Florals, painted in elegant script across white paneling. Pulled up. Diane was behind the wheel with 2 assistants. They parked near the service entrance and unloaded empty containers with sharp efficiency. Through the venue windows, Robert could see the cocktail reception in full swing. Clara stood near the main entrance, radiant in her $12,000 silk and pearls, accepting congratulations. Her laugh carried across the ballroom, bright and carefree, a sound that would soon change. Diane appeared in the ballroom doorway, holding large plastic containers, and walked directly toward the main altar arrangement. Guests began turning, confusion replacing celebration. Clara approached Diane with the practiced smile of someone accustomed to managing staff. "Excuse me, we're in the middle of our reception. Whatever you need can wait until later." Diane straightened, holding a bundle of white orchids. "Ma'am, I'm Diane from Evergreen Florals. Payment authorization for these arrangements was canceled 40 minutes ago. I need to recover our property." Clara's smile flickered. "That's impossible. Everything was paid for weeks ago. The account holder, Robert Sterling, contacted us directly. All payments have been stopped," Diane stated, removing flowers with professional detachment. "I have written authorization to collect our arrangements." Color drained from Clara's face. Julian crossed the room in quick strides, his expression shifting from confusion to anger. "What exactly is happening here?" his voice demanded, carrying the authority of someone unaccustomed to being questioned. "We're collecting unpaid merchandise," Diane explained calmly. Her assistant began wrapping the altar arrangement in protective plastic. This is completely unacceptable. Julian's face flushed red. Get your manager on the phone immediately. I am the manager, sir, and our contract clearly states that canceled payments void our service obligations, Diane retorted. As Diane's team collected the centerpieces, amidst the stunned silence of the guests, the Prestige Feast catering van pulled up outside. David emerged with 3 staff members, faces grim with purpose. They entered through the main doors, making no attempt at discretion. "Ma'am, we need to cease food service immediately," David announced, clipboard in hand. Payment authorization was revoked at 4:15. We're contractually obligated to protect our equipment and remaining inventory. Julian stepped between David and Clara. This is my wedding reception. You can't just stop service in the middle of an event. Sir, we can and we must, David replied. When payment authorization gets canceled, standard procedure requires immediate asset protection. His team began covering serving stations with white cloths. Guests shuffled nervously, champagne glasses untouched. The string quartet stopped playing when their coordinator arrived, and the microphones and speakers went silent. The ambient lighting shifted as a sound technician disconnected his mixing board. Clara stood frozen, her pristine wedding dress surrounded by the chaos of disappearing services. The venue coordinator approached Clara with reluctance. "Mrs. Thorne, I've just spoken with our accounting department. All payments for today's event originated from a single account belonging to Robert Sterling. That account holder has revoked authorization for every transaction." Clara's composure shattered completely. She finally understood the scope of her father's generosity and the consequences of her cruelty. She pulled out her phone with trembling fingers, scrolling to his familiar contact. Robert watched Clara's silhouette in the venue doorway through his rear-view mirror. Phone pressed her ear with desperate urgency. He didn't answer, not yet. He reflected on 25 years of sacrifice. Clara was 3 when Lena died of cancer. Robert chose to be everything Clara needed, choosing to be her sole parent rather than remarrying. "Daddy always has time for you," became his motto. He'd written checks for private school tuition at Crestwood Preparatory that consumed half his quarterly profits. He chose the best education, sacrificing business expansions and personal comfort. High school introduced her to wealthy classmates with trust funds. The first sign of entitlement emerged at her Sweet 16, when she complained that her reliable vehicle was kind of embarrassing compared to her friends' luxury cars. Commonwealth College expenses nearly bankrupted Sterling structures. Tuition, sorority dues, spring break trips to Cancun, study abroad programs in Italy. Each semester brought new financial demands. Phone calls from Clara eventually became nothing more than transaction requests. Graduate school brought Julian, representing old money family connections. Clara started demanding Robert change his appearance at family gatherings, embarrassed by the work boots that represented the company that funded her entire lifestyle. His successful 25-year, 60-employee company was reduced to a small business when she introduced him to Julian's parents. The wedding planning was a negotiation, Clara and Julian treating Robert's life savings as an unlimited resource. They discussed quality, that his money bought, but that his presence diminished. His phone buzzed again, Clara's 7th attempt. He reached for it, pulling out of the parking lot as her frantic silhouette shrank in his rear-view mirror. He listened to 4 increasingly desperate voicemails while sitting in his garage. Voicemail 1. "Dad, something's wrong with the payments. Call me back immediately." Voicemail 3. "Please, Dad, I don't understand what's happening. Julian's family is asking questions I can't answer." Voicemail 4. "I need you. Please pick up, please." Robert answered on the 5th ring. "Hello, Clara." "Dad." "Finally. What have you done? How could you destroy my wedding?" Her voice was pure panic. "I didn't destroy anything," Robert said calmly. "I simply stopped paying for things." Clara, calling from a Metropolitan Plaza hotel after being asked to leave the venue due to unpaid bills, became defensive. "This isn't the time for lectures. I need you to call these vendors and fix this mess. When was the last time you expressed genuine gratitude for my financial support?" Robert countered. Silence stretched. She couldn't remember specific instances. What I know is that 3 hours ago you told me I didn't belong at your wedding, a wedding I paid for entirely. Clara tried to claim wedding day nerves, using the wheedling tone she perfected in college to request money. The cake is still here, she managed, trying to salvage the remnants. I need you to authorize the payments, so we can save what's left of the reception. And exactly what do you plan to use for payment? Robert asked. A long pause followed. I thought you would handle it. You always handle it. Do you know how much I've spent on you over the past 25 years? Robert pressed. She guessed perhaps $50,000. $50,000 wouldn't have covered your sophomore year at Commonwealth. Robert said, Clara, I've spent over $300,000 on your education, housing, transportation, and lifestyle since your mother died. The line went quiet. 300? That can't be right. It's conservative. I have documentation for every expenditure, he confirmed. Why are I telling you this now? Because you've never asked. In 25 years, you've never once inquired about the cost of your lifestyle or expressed concern about the burden it placed on me. Julian's voice grew louder in the background, clearly arguing about their finances. What do you want from me? Clara finally asked, the panic gone, replaced by sudden desperation. I want you to understand what you threw away this afternoon when you dismissed the man who made your entire lifestyle possible. I understand now. I was wrong. Can we fix this? We'll see, Robert replied. I'm reviewing our entire financial relationship. We'll discuss this properly when I'm ready. Robert ended the call and opened his home office. Filing cabinets, housing 25 years of meticulous record-keeping, lined the wall like sentinels. Tonight, these secrets would serve their purpose. This was not revenge. It was an audit. The first drawer, labeled Clara Education 2020, detailed 12 years of private school tuition at Crestwood Preparatory, totaling $126,000. Robert created a new spreadsheet, reducing 25 years of fatherhood to data points and formulas. The Commonwealth College folder was thicker. Tuition alone was $52,000 per year for 4 years, plus room and board at $15,000 annually. Spring break in Cancun was $3,500. Summer in Italy for our art history phase was $8,200, all necessary for networking, as she acclaimed. The total for Commonwealth reached $284,000. The transportation folder detailed 3 cars, a Honda Civic at 16, quickly replaced by a BMW 320i at 19, because everyone else drives BMWs, and a third luxury SUV at 25. These expenses did not include the insurance and maintenance costs Robert absorbed without comment. The living expenses folder contained the darkest surprises. Post-graduation apartment rent in Lincoln Park was $2,800 monthly for 3 years. Credit card payments, designer clothing, spa treatments, and vacation trips totaled nearly $180,000. Robert calculated the staggering sum. Education, $410,000 transportation, $75,000 housing support, $125,000 personal expenses, $180,000 wedding, $147,000 total, $937,000. Clara had never contributed a single dollar to her own support, rarely held a job longer than 6 months, and never expressed gratitude. Robert looked at old photos. Clara at 8, beaming after school play, thanking him. He wondered when he had ceased being a person worth thanking and became merely a source of funding. The next morning, Sunday, Robert drove to Richards and Associates for an emergency consultation. Victoria Lawson, the lawyer, met him, impressed by his level of record-keeping. The total amount was substantial, even by their standards. Clara needs to understand the financial reality of what she's taken for granted, Robert instructed, demanding the situation be handled professionally. Victoria outlined the strategy. Formal demand letter requesting full repayment within 30 days, detailed accounting of all expenditures, and clear legal consequences for noncompliance. This approach transformed the family dispute into a business transaction, making it cleaner for all involved. By 11 a.m., the demand letter was prepared, $937,000 repayment within 30 days. Robert drove home with copies, satisfaction mixing with profound sadness that such measures were necessary. At exactly 2:15 p.m., the courier service confirmed delivery to the Metropolitan Plaza Hotel, room 1247, signed for by Clara Sterling Thorne. The formal process had begun. Part 6, The Unraveling. Clara's frantic calls began 32 minutes later. Robert, let each one go to voicemail. Message 2, $900,000. That's impossible. You never said these were loans. Message 3, please call back. Julian's family is asking questions I can't answer. At the Metropolitan Plaza Hotel, Clara and Julian were discovering what accountability looked like when backed by legal authority. Their financial dependency was now documented, quantified, and subject to collection procedures. The wedding disaster was the opening act. This was the main performance. Robert answered on Clara's 16th call. Her voice was cracked, exhaustion replacing panic. The document is completely real, Clara. As of the 30 days you have to respond, Robert stated. But $900,000, that's impossible. You never said any of it was a loan. I never said it was a gift, either. You simply assumed, Robert replied. Julian's frustrated voice and the sound of paper rustling were audible in the background. Robert asked, who exactly do you plan to contact for help with the situation? Clara hesitated. Family, friends, people who care about me. I see. Well, you have 29 days remaining. I suggest you start making those calls. Robert ended the conversation. Turning his phone to silent, he let Clara discover that a nearly $1 million debt would quickly reveal who was willing to help and who would politely decline. The next day, Robert received text from Clara. Dad, I've been trying to reach family and friends. Everyone is shocked by the amount. Please call me. Aunt Margaret says she can't get involved. She thinks I should learn responsibility. What does that even mean? Sarah won't take my calls anymore. Lisa is asking questions about why I never worked. People are treating me like I did something wrong. Clara's isolation grew. Julian, meanwhile, was having his own problems. His mother was demanding explanations, and his father wanted a family meeting about reputation management. By Wednesday, the core support network had collapsed. Wednesday brought a new message. Dad, Julian's family is pressuring him to consider annulment. They think our marriage was based on financial deception. Please call me so we can work this out. Robert almost smiled. Julian's family recognized reality quickly. By Thursday, Clara's message was shorter. Nobody will help. Everyone has excuses. Julian is barely speaking to me. His parents want him to see a lawyer about protecting his assets. I don't understand how everything changed so fast. With 25 days remaining, Clara was learning exactly what financial independence meant when she had never developed the necessary skills. On Monday, Robert's assistant, Rachel, brought him an email from the Oak Haven Chronicle of Commerce asking about family troubles affecting his business operations. Then came the social media attack. Clara's wedding photo, followed by emotional text describing a heartless father who had destroyed her special day and was now demanding impossible financial payments as punishment. The post painted Robert as unstable and vengeful. His phone immediately rang. Ken Delgado, a 20-year business partner from Delgado Concrete, expressed concern about the online gossip. More calls followed, all questioning Robert's mental state and business decisions. Clara and Julian, using Julian's family connections in Oak Haven's social and professional circles, were spreading a narrative of victimhood. Robert realized they had miscalculated. He pulled out the documentation Victoria Lawson had organized. Then he made his own calls. Victoria, I need to schedule a press conference for tomorrow morning. We're going public with the complete financial documentation. Are you certain? Once this information is public, there's no taking it back, Victoria cautioned. They've made it public already, Robert stated. Now it's time for the truth. He spent 6 hours preparing, contacting the Oak Haven Chronicle of Commerce, and promising complete financial transparency. He called 25 years worth of business partners and community leaders, People who had watched him build sterling structures. There's going to be a story tomorrow that sets the record straight about Clara's situation, he told his foreman, Ben. Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., Robert published 25 years of financial documentation across every platform Clara and Julian had used. The presentation was methodical, professional, and undeniable. The headline read, 25 years of parental support documented. Below it were bank statements showing the $937,000 in payments, categorized spreadsheets detailing $52,000 annual college tuition payments, receipts for 3 luxury cars, and a timeline showing her progression from grateful child to entitled adult. The response was immediate. Within the hour, Robert received calls of support. "James, I had no idea about the scope of support you provided," said Tom Bradley. Ken Delgado called back, "I owe you an apology. After seeing those bank records, I understand exactly what you're dealing with." The social media momentum shifted like an avalanche. Comments supporting Clara's victim narrative suddenly looked naive against a backdrop of financial reality. The Oak Haven construction community rallied completely, sharing stories about Robert's work ethic. The documented evidence turned the reputation attack into a community education moment about financial responsibility and entitlement. Clara and Julian's strategy had backfired spectacularly. Julian's family connections now worked against them. Their social circle questioned their association with individuals who had lied about a respected businessman. The narrative completely reversed. Clara and Julian were now seen as entitled individuals who had attacked a generous parent when he finally set boundaries. Robert received a final text from Clara. "Dad, please take down those financial records. People are saying terrible things about us." He deleted it without responding. At 6:47 a.m. Wednesday morning, Julian's phone rang at the Metropolitan Plaza Hotel. His father's voice, carrying unmistakable authority, demanded he come home immediately. Julian's face drained color as he listened to the demands concerning the gossip at the country club and the association with financial fraud. When Julian hung up, he began shoving clothes into his suitcase. "Julian, this is temporary," Clara pleaded. "My father will calm down." "Clara, stop," he interrupted, his voice carrying a finality she'd never heard. "My father received calls yesterday from 3 different business partners. The country club is buzzing with gossip about the Thorne family's association with financial fraud." Julian's packing grew aggressive. "I have a trust fund, Clara, business prospects, a future that depends on maintaining certain relationships. What about our relationship? What about our marriage vows?" Clara asked. Julian stopped and looked at her directly. "What marriage? You brought me into a financial disaster without warning. Your father is demanding almost $1 million in repayment, and you have no way to pay it. My family lawyer says I need to protect myself from potential liability." "Liability? I'm your wife. You're a financial burden with no assets and massive debt," Julian retorted, the words hitting her like physical blows. His mother then texted Clara, offering clinical, polite reassurance that Michael needs to come home. "Family obligations, you understand?" "Julian, please, don't leave me alone," Clara begged. "Clara, I've been alone in this marriage since it started. You never contributed anything except expectations and expenses," he said, softening slightly. "Maybe losing everything will teach you something your father's money never could." The door closed with devastating finality. Clara stared at the vast, empty hotel room, her wedding dress hanging in the closet, a reminder of 6 days that had destroyed her entire life. She was completely alone. She picked up her phone and called her father. The phone rang once before Robert answered. His voice held no warmth, but no cruelty either, just calm acknowledgement. "Dad," the word came out broken. I don't know where to start." "Start with the truth. Do you understand what happened this week?" Robert challenged. The weight of 28 years of thoughtless entitlement crashed down. "I lost everything. My husband left me this morning. His family cut me off completely. I don't have money for tonight's hotel bill," she confessed. "Do you understand why?" "Because I treated you like a bank account instead of a person," Clara admitted. "Because I never appreciated what you sacrificed for me. Because I was selfish and entitled and cruel." She confessed everything, that she had dismissed him from the wedding he paid for, that she had tried to destroy his reputation, and that she had become everything wrong with spoiled children who never grow up. Somewhere along the way, giving you everything became the reason you stopped loving me back. Robert reflected sadly. I never stopped loving you, Dad. I stopped showing it. I stopped being grateful. I stopped being a daughter and became a consumer. What do you want from me now? He asked. I want to earn your respect. I want to become the daughter you deserve to have. I want to learn how to be an adult who contributes instead of just taking, Clara pleaded. But first, I need help surviving long enough to prove I can change. Robert laid down the conditions. If I help you this time, there will be conditions. You'll find employment within 2 weeks. I don't care if it's cleaning offices or waiting tables. Pride is a luxury you can no longer afford. Second, no financial request for 6 months. She must live on what she earns. Third, their weekly conversations will be between 2 adults, not a parent and a dependent child. I want that. I want to earn the right to be your daughter again, Clara agreed. I'm going to transfer $1,000 to your account. That covers this hotel for 1 week and basic groceries. After that, you're on your own. Thank you. I know I don't deserve it. You're right. You don't deserve it, Robert confirmed. But everyone deserves one chance to grow up, even at 28. Clara, I've always loved you. Now I want to see if I can respect you too. The call ended. For the first time, Clara felt possibility, the chance to become someone worth respecting. She opened her laptop and started searching for jobs in Oak Haven. The education was finally beginning.